Right, welcome to this review for the new Leagues of Votann Codex. It comes as part of the box set, the army box set that Games Workshop have released. So to check out that review, I've done it as a separate video, so I've been unboxing my own thoughts and opinions of that set as it comes out from Games Workshop. And then I'm doing a separate video here, just sort of a normal Codex review, so it'll be a flick through, you get a chance to see all of the content inside. The rules, the army rules, relics, warlord traits, stratagems, unit profiles. It'll be fascinating to see the unit profiles as well. Really, it's the squats of Return. Leagues of Votann is the title that Games Workshop have given to them. But a chance now to check out the rules for them in the Codex. So for discount 40k, check out the link in the video description for the OUTPOST UK. It means you can get your Leagues of Votann stuff and other 40k and other gaming systems and so on at a discounted rate. Just helps to keep the cost of the hobby down. It's the crank of a new book. So the usual format for these codex is a little bit different. You don't get the Warhammer 40,000 across the tops. This is like a one that comes inside the box, slightly different, but same size, different artworks, different on the back as well. Like so. I'm gonna, well, the artwork's gonna be fascinating here. There'll be, within the artwork, perhaps there'll be some clues as to what kind of other units may head our way. So it's a kind of a, even with the colour scheme, you've got a kind of a lunar style going on with these. So this kind of lunar colour scheme, very moon buggy style going on. And I am, not so keen, no. I'm not, not so keen, I'm afraid, on this, because I'm thinking back to squats, back in the day, with their style. So this is quite a radical departure away from it. I mean, the design concept's fantastic, a clever idea, and it is a challenge for Games Workshop to create something that is separate in style to the other factions. You know, they've got to find room in there somewhere to do something differently, which they've managed to do. They've accomplished that for sure, but not so keen on these vehicles. They are bulky, they're big old things. Let's move on. Artwork here. This piece of artwork is fascinating, especially I picked out in the review video this particular piece of artwork here. This is very similar to the squats of old, with the studded padded jacket, the earmuff helmet style going on there, very similar to how they were back in the day, so I find that interesting. Heavily armoured here, for heavy infantry. Kin Society, Origins and Adaptations. I'm sure people are going to find this the most fascinating read up here on the lore for these. The Votann, Warzone Orgvayar, however it's pronounced, Seekers and Delvers. It's very dwarf style, you know, miners and tradesmen. The Kin Host, the Galactic Core, League Territories. Interesting how they're going to fit into the 40k universe now. Background fluff. And the leagues, the Greater Furian League, the Trans-Hyperion Alliance, the Cronus Hegemony, the Timir Conglomerate, the Irani Suta or Surta Regulates, myriad leagues after that. Interesting, there's their weaponry. It's an Iron Blaster, a bolt shotgun, a Vulcanite Disintegrator, a Hylas auto rifle, an Autok pattern bolter, bolter revolver, a Graviton blast cannon, an SP conversion beamer, an Etakan plasma gun, an Etakan plasma pistol. So there's some Imperial reference in there, but they've got their own weaponry here. Again, I wonder if any of these are a continuation on from squat weaponry. So they're offering some colour schemes here from the different leagues. Oh, well, now we're looking a bit more impressive. See if I can show you. Yeah, I'm struck by this picture, this setup. Yeah, because now you've got, this is the big bulky thing, but they've got these smaller buggies and they do look very cool. So I'm kind of stuck in a bit of a, I'm stuck in the throwback, or I'm stuck in the old days of squats and what I'd always imagined they would be if they came back, and they're now confronted with the final representation of them from Games Workshop. So there's that kind of shock to the system, I guess. But if I knew nothing about squats and nothing about that at all, and no expectation, and then this new faction all of a sudden came along, I would be impressed by these. I think they do look particularly good. And they're radically different to any other Imperial faction, so again, congratulations to Games Workshop for doing that. I don't think they're very Space Marine at all, especially the way they've gone about doing the vehicles. You could argue that the heavy armour is it's a bit like small Space Marines, but you know, looking at these vehicles here, they're completely different. The colour scheme looks fantastic. They're particularly nice. I really like this buggy with the dome here, just on a smaller scale to that, but paired up, looking at them together, spread across the page, and the whole colour scheme looks fantastic. So these are, it's a great looking faction. It really is the cutting edge stuff from Games Workshop at the moment. So, rolling on, there's the Berserk set. Okay, sort of Terminator type models. Fighting here, there's some of the characters that Games Workshop have already designed. There's a very dwarfen looking Greater Furian League Grimnir, however it's pronounced. And you got these floating bikes. There's the buggies in action again. They've got them fighting against the orcs. If you knew anything or know anything about the squats, you know they were known for their buggies and bikes back in the day. It's just good to see that their Games Workshop have continued on that tradition with those. And taking on the Chaos Space Marines. There's another Imperial faction here to help defend humanity. Or not, their own interests, I guess, with the dwarves. They're fighting against the Admech here. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. And what a battle that would be against on a Martian or a lunar landscape. Admech versus Leagues of Votann. Of course, this is the great combinations here. And other combinations like against the orcs, amazing games. I'm sure you'd have playing against the orcs. Brilliant combination. Playing against Tyranids, playing against Chaos. There's loads of they got playing against Chaos here. Again, see the way they've set this up. This very sort of lunar kind of feel going on with these. I don't know. Games Workshop are not trickling these units out. Much of the army is here. Yeah, there's a lot of factions already in place. Got HQs, got vehicles, got everything going on. Alright, here we go. We're on to the rules. So, this is a representation of a small detachment. There's some bits about structure in the army. And then into the leagues, so you get stratagems, warlord traits, and relics, a bit like, you know, your factions for your chapters for Space Marines, Imperial for Space Lords, same kind of thing going on with these. And then straight into leagues. This codex is not the biggest, so sensible enough. It's probably going to be the usual format. So you're going to get special rules for each of the leagues. Then you're going to get your generic stratagems to the faction, warlord traits, relics, and so on. That's the usual kind of format. So I'd hope to give you some unit profiles and points values and so on as well. So the Greater Furian League. So ruthless efficiency. Models this custom, excluding cog models, count as 2 models when determining control of an objective marker, or 5 models if they have wounds characteristic, or 10 or more. So great for landing on sitting on objectives, what you'd expect from these solid dwarf type models, just to have that endurance to camp out on objectives. Each time unit this custom is selected to shoot or fight, you can reroll 1 hit roll or 1 wound roll, making that unit's attacks. So all nice and easy and straightforward with those rules. Ancestral Judgment, each turn model. There's also an extra bit here the League custom, you get Ancestral Judgment. Each time a model, excluding COG model of this custom, makes an attack against a target that has one or more Juggernaut tokens, that enemy unit is considered to have one more Juggernaut token, and then actually has to maximum of 3 when determining what bonuses apply to the attacking models. Attacks, we'll come to that later on, I guess. Warlord trait is Pragmatic Wisdom. Whilst this Warlord is on the battlefield, each time you spend a command point to use a stratagem, roll a d6, and a 5+ you get that point back. Yeah, so it's nice and straightforward. Then Appraising Glare is the stratagem. Use a stratagem when a Greater Furian League Carl model from your army uses its Grim Efficiency ability. The selected enemy unit gains 1 additional judgment token. There's a fair bit going on about these judgment tokens here. And then Relic is Corvix Cuirass. It's a Greater Furian League model only. You get a 4+ invulnerable save, and each time attack is allocated to the bearer, the arm penetration of that attack is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 0. This is cumulative with a similar bonus from the Void Armor ability. Ooh, Void Armor. Yeah. Alright, so looking at objective holding, tough enough, negate damage type faction with those. Then you've got the Trans-Hyperion Alliance. Looks like they're fighting in the snow. League custom, Honour the Ancestors. Each time model this custom makes an attack. If that model is below its strength, add 1 to the attack's hit roll. If you're below starting strength. And each time model this custom makes an attack on a modified wound roll of a 6, the AP, the arm penetration characteristic of that attack is improved by 1. So I wouldn't say that's as strong as what it was previously. Ancestral Judgment, each time model this custom, excluding the COG model, makes an attack against a target that's 1 or more judgment tokens. You can reroll wound rolls of 1. And the Warlord trait, Nomad Strategist. At the start of the first battle round, you can select up to 3 friendly Trans-Hyperion Alliance units wholly within your deployment zone. Remove those units from the battlefield and set them up anywhere on the battlefield that's wholly within your deployment zone. If the mission uses the Strategic Reserves rules, any of those units can be placed in Strategic Reserves without having to spend any additional CPs, regardless of how many units are already in Strategic Reserves. If both players have abilities that redeploy units, roll off, blah 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 blah. Okay, so Strategic Redeploy, very very useful. Cult of Veneration, 1 CP for the stratagem. Use this stratagem in any phase when a Trans-Hyperion Alliance model from your army would lose wound as a result of mortal wounds. You get 5+ feel no pain from that, it's fine. And the Relic Corv Duus is +1 to the wounds characteristic of this unit's Corv models. Whilst the bearer's unit contains 1 or more Corv models, the bearer can attempt to deny 1 additional psychic power in each of the opponent's psychic phases. And while the bearer's unit contains 1 or more Corv models, add 1 to deny the witch tests. Yeah, so we've got psychic powers going on here for the squats or the Leagues of Votann. Cronus Hedge Money. Each time unit this custom fights, if it made a charge move, was charged, perform a heroic intervention this turn, and until the fight is resolved, add 1 to the attack's characteristics and models in that unit. So you can go aggressive here and be rewarded for it, if that's the way you want to build your list. It's very solid. Each time model this custom makes a melee attack, if that model's unit made a charge, was chargeable, perform a heroic intervention, add 1 to the attack strength. So +1 strength, +1 attack. Very good. Really good. So you really can go hyper aggressive. The orcs may come thundering into you, but you can fight back well here with these. This is not like Astra Militarum. You've got models that can, plenty of units you can choose that will fight back gladly in close combat. Nice. Ancestral Judgment, each time model this custom excluding COG models makes a melee attack against a target that's 2 or more judgment tokens. The AP is improved by 1. The Warlord trait, Exemplary Hero. Each time this Warlord fights, if it's an engage at range of any enemy character or monster units, then it's +1 to the Warlord's attacks characteristic. Each time it makes a melee attack, you reroll the hit roll, and each time the Warlord makes an attack against an enemy character or monster, +1 to the wound roll. That's insanely good. So you can really make a good strong hero. So this is the Cronus Hedge Money here is hyper on melee. And for 9th edition, that's particularly handy, as James would say. So, Cronus Hedge Money, yeah, this is I think I'm drawn towards these. Bloody Expectations here for 1 CP. Use your stratagem in the fight phase when a Hedge Money unit from your army is selected to fight until the end of the phase. Each time the unit makes a melee attack. 6s pop extra hits. Nice and straightforward. 1 CP, popping extra hits on 6s, excellent. And the Relic. See if we can really top this off nice and strong. The Just Blade. So, model with a forge wrought plasma axe or dark star axe. It replaces those. You get +1 strength, AP -4, 2 damage, and ignoring invuln saves after plays is the icing on the cake. Oh boy, so that's the ones to go for if you want to go for close combat. Oh, it's crazy. Oh, it's mad. You just give the relic and the warlord trait to one of the characters, make him a beast. Yep, all looking particularly good. Right, then the Yumyar conglomerate here. So, Master Armourers, 4 inches to the range characteristic of all ranged weapons, excluding relics. I'm getting the impression with the leagues that you're going to get the all-round option. You're going to get a faction here that's pretty much good at everything. We'll check to see how fast they can move, but we already know they've got these buggies and bikes. So I don't think speed's going to be much of a problem. I can imagine shooting's going to be good. Armour and toughness is going to be sound with these. And I'm sure they're going to kick out decent firepower, and they've got plenty of close combat units. So an all-round generally strong faction we're looking at here. And if they're tough, they could be really good. Models with a unit that's custom have a save characteristic that have a save characteristic of a 2+, gain a 4+ invulnerable save. Other models in the unit that have a 5+ invulnerable save. Oh right, so 4 and 5+ invuln saves across the board. Man. Alright, so to toughen them up even further. The Ancestral Judgment, each time model is custom, excluding cog models, makes ranged attack targets within half range. If the target has 1 or more Juggernaut tokens, the AP is improved by 1. Warlord trait, Guild Connections. The damage characteristic of all weapons in this Warlord is equipped to is increased by 1, excluding relics. Useful enough. Pulsed Beam Discharge for 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase from a Yumyar. I'm just going to say Yumyar. Conglomerate unit from army selected to shoot. A Ymir, I would say. Okay. Select one, so each time you select to shoot, select one model in that unit and then select one beam weapon that is equipped with. Until the end of that phase, each time a hit is scored with that weapon, the target suffers a mortal wound in addition to any normal damage. There's no cap on that. And the relic, the last crest of Jiluk. It's a shield crest model only. Once per battle, before making a saving throw for the bearer, you can activate the relic. If it does so, you get a 3+ invulnerable save. Each time the bearer would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound, it's a 4+ feel no pain. So generally all round strong enough with that one. So far so good. I am still liking the third one there. Cronus Hedgehog in it, liking them. So I think for 9th edition now, the ability to do well in close combat is like really important. A Urani Sutta Regulates. So Dower Survivalists. Add 1 to the toughest characteristic of models in the unit with this custom. Nice. And you can reroll failed morale tests as well, which is alright, but okay, so you've got tougher options here. Ancestral Judgment. Each time model is custom, excluding cogs, makes an attack against target as 0 Juggernaut tokens. The enemy unit is considered to have 1. And when determining what bonuses apply. Warlord trait is Grim Pragmatism. It's a 5+ feel no pain. And then waste not your last breath. Stratagem, 1 CP. Use your stratagem in the fight phase when your regulates character model from your army that has not already been selected to fight is destroyed. Then you get to fight. And the relic is the Abiding Mental. Regulates model only, unless the bearer is the closest eligible target. Enemy models cannot target it with ranged weapons. Alright, it's a bit of protection there. Alright, so then if you're not so keen on those, you can create your own league. Your own league. Create your own custom league by selecting rules from the list here. Unless otherwise stated, your league has 3 customs from the following list. One of which, only one, must be from those with an Ancestral Judgment label. Okay. Right. Yep. So, you see you've got two bonuses going on with these, so like +4 inches to range of weapons and a increase on the invuln save, right? But then you also, all of these come with this Ancestral Judgment, so that's where the third one's coming from. So you can go through in combinations here. Again, you can configure this depending on what you want to do. close combat, shooting, a balance of the two, whatever you want to do. So martial clones kins. Each time model is custom makes a melee attack. If that model's unit made a charge move was charged or performed direct intervention, it's +1 to the attack strength, +1 strength on the charge. Vengeful. Each time unit is custom destroys an enemy unit, it gains 2 judgment tokens instead of 1. Brutal efficiency. Each time model is custom, excluding cog model, makes a melee attack against the target as 1 or more judgment tokens. Unmodified hit roll of a 6 scores an additional hit. So these are all quite familiar bonuses going on there, but you can just do your own combo. Close quarters prioritization. When you declare a charge, if it only declares a charge against one target, and if that target has 1 or more judgment tokens, add 2 to the charge roll. Stoic, reroll failed morale tests. Taking it personally, each time a unit with this customer select shoot or fight, if all models in that unit make their attacks against the same enemy unit, after resolving those attacks, if that enemy unit suffered damage as a result of those attacks but was not destroyed, roll 1d6 and add 1 to the result of the unit being attacked is now below half strength. On a 5+, the enemy unit suffers or gains a judgment token. And then Honour in Toil. Each time an attack is made by a model with this custom, if this unit is below its starting strength, add 1 to the attack's hit roll. And then War Songs. Each time a League model with this custom makes a melee attack, if the target of that attack was within engagement range of 2 or more League core units from your army, when the attacking unit was selected to fight, you can reroll the hit roll. And then you've got League affiliated here. You cannot select this custom if you select any other customs. You select this custom, you cannot select any, so it just lets you draw from. Select one of the following leagues: Great Arthurian, Trans-Siberian, so on and so on, all the way through. Refined Powered Cores, +2 inches to the move. With this custom, if you have either the accelerated or vehicle keywords, it's a little bit quicker. Quick to Judge. Each time an enemy unit targets a unit with this custom with a shooting or melee attack, after the attacking unit has resolved all of its attacks, if the unit with this custom referred to, this custom suffered 1 or more casualties as a result of those attacks was not destroyed, roll 1d6 and add 1 to the result of the unit being attacked is now below half strength, not 4+. The attacking unit gains a judgment token. And Superior Beam Capacitors, add 1 to the strength characteristic of all beam weapons equipped by models with this custom, including relics. Each time this custom is selected for the Core Buster Fire Pattern Stratagems, it costs 0 CP. Unwavering Discipline. Each time model, excluding cog model, this custom makes an attack against a target that's 1 or more judgment tokens. You can ignore any or all hit roll, weapon skill, ballistic skill modifiers. Void Hardened. Each time an attack is made against a unit that's custom, unmodified wound roll of 1 to 2, and the attack always fails, irrespective of any abilities. And then Warrior Pride. Each time a unit that's custom is selected to shoot or fight, you can reroll 1 hit roll or 1 wound roll when resolving that unit's attacks. And finally, Weaponsmiths, 4 inches to the range characteristic of all ranged weapons, excluding relics. Alright, they're on to stratagems, should be 4 pages of them, but yep. Okay, so it's kind of settled on a format now, it seems, these codexes, so we know what's coming here for the structure of it. Alright, so stratagems. We're looking for some golden nuggets here. I'm sure there's going to be some repetition with other stratagems that are out there, but seeing if there's any sort of cool rules, powerful ones that can be used here for the leagues. So, Accelerated Response, 1 CP. Use your stratagem in your movement phase and vote an accelerated unit from your army is selected to advance. At the end of that phase, add 12 inches to the move characteristic of each model in that unit. Well, that's the idea of them being slow out the window. That's crazy. 12 inches, auto 12. You're off to a good start. Ancestral Sentence, 1 CP. Use your stratagem in your shooting phase, and the Votann unit from army is selected to shoot, or in the fight phase. When they're selected to fight, to the end of that phase, each time model unit makes an attack against a target that's 1 or more judgment tokens. You can reroll the hit roll, so excellent reroll and hit rolls, strong. So immediately we've got 2 stratagems here which are very, very useful. A Core Buster Fire Pattern, 1 CP, use your stratagem in your shooting phase after an enemy unit is hit by an attack made by a beam weapon, fired by a Votann model from your army. To the end of that phase, each time the enemy unit is hit by another attack made by a beam weapon, fired by a Votann model from your army, roll 1d6 on a 4+, the enemy unit suffers a mortal wound, in addition to normal damage. A unit can only suffer a maximum of 6 mortal wounds per phase due to this stratagem. So it's multiple beams coming across and just piling on multiple wounds. Fine, if you can coordinate that, then multiple wounds are great. Add Cyber Stim Infusion on CP. Uses stratagem in the fight phase and a Votann berserkers unit from your army selected to fight into that phase. Each time the unit makes a melee attack, you can reroll the hit roll. Again, reroll hit rolls strong. They're all 1 CP, so powerful stratagems here. The Hunter's Mark, 1 CP, uses stratagem in shooting phase before making a hit roll for an attack made by a Votann model from your army. If the target unit has 1 or more judgment tokens, do not make a hit roll for the attack. It also hits. Alright, and then Kinbon, 2 CP, uses stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Select 1 enemy unit that's within engagement range of 2 or more Votann core units from your army to the end of that phase. Each time Votann core model makes an attack against that enemy unit, you can reroll the wound roll. So it's 2 CP, rerolling your wounds, nice. And then the Might of the Einherjar, 1 CP, uses stratagem in shooting phase with an Einherjar unit from your army selected to shoot during the fight phase when they're selected to fight to the end of that phase. It's +1 to the attack's hit roll. So these are all excellent stratagems so far. It's about one of the best starts to stratagems I've ever seen. They're looking strong here for the Leagues of Votann. This is good. So optimised volley, 1 CP, uses stratagem in shooting phase and a Votann unit from army selected to shoot. At the end of that phase, each time modern unit makes an attack with a bolt weapon. 6s, unmodified hit rolls are 6, 1 additional hit is scored. If the target unit contained 11 or more models, then it's 2 additional hits instead. Still only costs you 1 CP to do it, but if it's a larger horde, you can pop them with double hits. Yeah, 2 additionals. Optimised volley. That's an excellent page of stratagems, that. Point blank fusillade, 2 CP. This is about one of the longest I've ever seen. Look at the size of that one. So uses stratagem to start the shooting phase, select 1 Votann infantry or Votann biker unit from your army until the end of that phase. Models in this unit can make attacks with ranged weapons even when the units are within engagement range of enemy units, but they can only make such attacks against enemy units that are within engagement range, or if a model makes an attack with a beam weapon, the unit is only resolved against the target unit and it cannot hit any other unit outside of the combat. That's fine. In such circumstances, those models can target enemy unit even if they're friendly units with engagement range of the same unit. Note that if a model from this unit, I think it's all just clarification, so it gives you an idea of that point blank fusillade, just firing in faster with engagement range. Okay, reactive reprisal, 1 or 2 CP, uses stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase after an enemy unit that had 1 or more judgment tokens when it was selected to shoot has resolved its attacks. Select 1 Votann core unit from your army that was hit by 1 or more of the enemy's attacks this phase and is not within engagement range of enemy units. The Votann core unit can immediately shoot as if it were the shooting phase. And when doing so, can only if the enemy unit is an eligible target. After resolving its attacks, the Votann core unit is then not eligible to shoot in the next shooting phase. If the Votann core unit was a unit of half-kin warriors, it costs 1 CP, otherwise it's ticked. So another tactical option there. Grimwrought Barrier, 2 CP. Use a stratagem in your command phase, select 1 Votann unit from army within 9 inches of a friendly Grimnir model. That unit and its models it contains stop being affected by any psychic powers that have been affecting it, manifested by an enemy unit. Until the start of your next command phase, that unit and the models it contains are not affected by any malediction psychic powers manifested. So fine, you just shut down the psychic power. It's going to happen, you just pay the CP for it. Bastion Running, 1 CP, use a stratagem in your command phase, select 1 Hecaton Land Fortress model from your army. To the start of your next command phase, that model is considered to have its full wounds remaining, so it's top bracket. Combat Surgery, restore D3 wounds. In the command phase, Personal Grudge, 1 CP, use a stratagem in your command phase, select 1 Votann character from your army. It's on the battlefield until the end of the battle. Each time model that character unit makes an attack against selected enemy unit, the enemy unit is considered to have 3 judgment tokens on it for the purposes of judging what bonuses apply to the attacking model's attacks. You're going to use a stratagem if every unit from your army is of the same league. You can use a stratagem once unless you're playing Onslaught Battle, in which case it's twice. In the right hands, you can select a Votann character model of your army and give them an ancestral relic. The bequest of the Votann, you select on Theron or Hessia model from your army. That model can have one of the following ancestral relics. So list the relics there. Legend of the League, 1 CP. when you're mustering your army, if your Warlord is the Votann keyword, select on Votann character one of your army to determine one additional one Warlord trait forms. So it's access to that, quite the standard ones, those ones in red. Then Familial Loyalty, 1 CP, use the strategy from your opponent's charge phase, select one Votann infantry or bike unit from your army. Into that phase, units eligible to perform heroic interventions if it was a character. Cool, so they rush to the aid of their fellow kinsmen. And then light them up, 1 CP. Use the strategy in your shooting phase after a Votann searchlight unit from your army resolves its attacks. Select one enemy unit that was hit by one or more of the unit's ranged attacks. That's phase. If every unit in your army is from the same league, excluding unaligned, then the selected enemy unit gains a judgment token. So I'm not sure what they're going to do with the model range, because if they've gone ahead and done this codex, I think it's pretty much set on what the range that they have to offer is, and it's pretty good. It's nice diversity, for something that's brand new. There's a good spread, some good HQs, fast stack options, elites, close combat stuff, tanks, big vehicles, and so on. So I can't see them really releasing more stuff after this for these. Be surprised if there's no infantry for them in the book. Luck has need keeps, toil earns, 1 CP. Use your strategy end of movement phase. Select Votann core infantry unit from your army that is within range of objective marker. To the start of your next command phase, units within range of that objective marker auto pass morale. Unless the unit makes a range attack or declares a charge, the unit can ignore any rules that would cause any actions that are being performed to fail. And each time all the unit would lose a wound, it's a 6+ feel no pain. So it's not bad for a CP. Mag Riders, 1 CP. Use your strategy opponent's shooting phase when a Votann bike unit from your army selected as the target of an attack. So you get -1 to the attack hit roll. And if the unit has an advance during this turn, the attack's hit roll cannot be rerolls. So shut down rerolls potentially, and -1 to hit rolls. That's again 1 for 1 CP. Nice. Newfound Nemesis, 1 CP. Use the stratagem when a Votann Warlord or Grimnir model from your army is destroyed. The enemy unit that destroyed that model gains 2 judgment tokens. If your destroyed model was a Grimnir, the enemy unit gains 3 judgment tokens instead. Outflanking Pioneers, 1 CP. Use your strategy at the start of the movement phase. Select Hernkin Pioneers unit from your army that is more than 6 inches away from enemy models. Within 6 inches of a battlefield edge, you can just dump them into reserves and bring them back later on. So it's a flexible enough option. Last page here. So well-ordered retreat for 1 CP. Use the strategy in the movement phase. You can fall back, and you can still shoot. No minuses. Concussion Blast, 1 CP. Use the strategy in your shooting phase. When you're selected to shoot, select one enemy unit within 6 inches of that unit. You can then, to the start of the next shooting phase, select an enemy unit cannot fire Overwatch or set to defend. And each time on that selected enemy unit makes an attack, it's -1 to hit roll. And that's any attack, so you could shut down shooting and combat. Iron Storm, so this is your orbital bombardment type thing, I think. Use the strategy in your shooting phase and a Votann unit from your selected to shoot until the end of that phase. Each time modern unit makes an attack with an iron weapon, a modified wound roll of a 6 inflicts a mortal wound on the target in addition to any normal damage. To maximum 6 mortal wounds. If the unit contains 11 models, then it's 2 CP. No, so it's not orbital bombardment. It's bonus rules coming through there with iron weapons. Yeah. Subterranean explosives. Use it in the shooting phase when explosives unit from your army is selected to shoot. To the end of that phase, each time that unit makes a ranged attack, subtract 1 for the attack's wound roll. And if a hit is scored against a target that is not Titanic and cannot fly until the start of the next shooting phase, halve the move characteristic of models of that target unit, and the target unit is not eligible to fight, and that just shuts them down. So useful. Multi-wave system jammer, 2 CP. Use the stratagem at the start of any phase. Select one Votann comms unit from your army, then select one enemy unit within 12 of that unit. At the end of the phase, the enemy unit cannot be affected by any aura abilities that that unit's opponent's force may have. So yes, maybe. Yeah. Overcharged shield crest, 1 or 2 CP. Use the stratagem in any phase when the Votann shield crest unit from your army is selected as a target of a ranged attack. At the end of that phase, each time a ranged attack is made against that unit, an unmodified wound roll of 1 to 3 if that attack fails, irrespective of any abilities the weapon or the model making the attack may have. If the unit contains 5 or fewer models, it's 1 CP, otherwise it's 2. Pan-spectral warning, 2 CP on this one as well. Use the stratagem at the end of the reinforcement step of your opponent's movement phase. Select on Votann, scan the unit from your army. It's not within engagement range of enemy units. That unit can shoot as if it were the shooting phase, but its models can only target a single enemy. Eligible enemy unit within 12 inches. Yeah. It's on the enemy unit that was set up as reinforcements for this turn. And then site-to-site transport. Use the stratagem at the start of movement phase. Select a Votann teleportation unit from your army, move it from the battlefield, and you can just redeploy back down. That's 1 CP, otherwise it's 2. Yeah, it's 1 CP for a character, 2 points for everybody else. So that's the stratagems. They're fine. They look great. The first page there's fantastic. So there's definitely some really strong ones. It looks like a lot of the good ones. Only 1 CP, which is very useful with the limitation now for CPs. So what you've got here is the Votannic Council. If your army's battleforged, it includes any Votann detachments. When your army's mustered, you can upgrade in the following Votann character units, excluding named characters from your army. Karl, Brocker, Ironmaster, and Grimnir. You can upgrade them here. Oh, I see how it works. So a Karl, it then becomes a higher Karl, so it's like a just upgrading your leader. Like I'm thinking, like for the Drukhari, I think you could take an Archon and then make him into a Master Archon or something. It's an upgrade to your campaign just to make him a bit better and open up the way to take different war gear. So that's what they've done here. 3. So you've got the Karl, you can make him a high Karl, which is power level 2, 40 points. The Grimnir, make him a Lord Grimnir here for +1 power level or 25 points. And the Brockir Ironmaster, you make him a Forge Master with 1 power level and 25 points for him as well. So for that you'll get, for the first one, the high Karl here, you're looking at 40 points. In your command phase, select on friendly league, core or character unit within 6 inches to the start of the next command phase. Each time model that unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll. So granting reroll hits is certainly powerful enough if you're placed with the right unit. High Karl is excluded from the hero of the oath band ability rule. This means a detachment can include both 1 high Karl and unit and 1 other Karl unit as well. Ancestral Judgment. Each time a high Karl model destroys an enemy unit, if that unit have 1 or more judgment tokens, you can select 1 enemy unit that is visible to this model. If you do so, that unit gains 1 judgment token. The Warlord trait is you can give high Karl model the experienced Eye Warlord trait instead of giving them another Warlord trait. And experienced Eye. Right, so you still get access to the other traits. You can go for some different combos, but it does grant you access to this one in your command phase. In each of your command phases, this Warlord can use their Grim Efficiency ability 1 additional time, but only if you select an enemy unit that was not already been selected for this ability during this phase. So, a bit like Hand of the Fayer on for the Necrons. Okay. So Lord Grimnir here next. You can attempt to manifest 1 additional psychic power in each of your psychic phases. Right, nice and straightforward. There's a bit there for Ancestral Judgment, which is Anger of the Ancestors. When he uses a psychic power from the Skynwrought Discipline, if there are any enemy units from 18, you log in a model with 1 or more judgment tokens. You can add 1 to that psychic test. The Warlord trait, you can give him this one as well as another, so that it's Ancestral Power. Add 6 inches to the range of psychic powers from the skin discipline that are manifested by this Warlord. And then the Forge Master, once per battle round, if this model is on the battlefield, you can use a Votann Wargear stratagem. If the unit selected to use that stratagem is a friendly league unit within 6 inches of the Forge Master, reduce the CP cost of that stratagem by 1 CP. Okay. Ancestral Judgment. Each time this Warlord repairs a model using its skilled ability, the model being repaired regains 3 lost wounds instead of D3. It says the model being repaired regains up to 4 lost wounds instead, whilst the Forge Master's unit includes 1 or more ECOG models as described in the ECOG support ability. And then once per battle, when a saving throw is failed for a friendly league vehicle or exo frame model within 6 inches of this warlord can use this trait. When it does so, the damage characteristic of that attack is changed to a 0. So they're all helpful enough. Right, so then we got relics going on here. So, Aktol's Fortress. Shield crest model only. At the start of the fight phase, you can select one unit within 3 inches of the bear. That unit is not eligible to fight, so just shutting them down. Just selecting one unit though, similar to the Drakari of a similar ability. Ancestral crest. Once for battle, if the bearer is selected to use an epic deed stratagem, the stratagem costs 0 CP. Once for battle, making a hit roll, wound roll, or saving throw for the bearer, you can change the result of that roll to a 6. For any rules purposes, that counts as an unmodified 6. If an enemy unit destroys the bearer, or roll an additional d6 at the end of the phase. From 2 to 5 it's d3 mortal wounds. On a 6 it's a straight 3. Then Exactor, so it replaces the mass hammer. It's times 2 strength, paid -3 and d3 plus 3 damage. Each time attack is made with this weapon on a modified hit roll of a 6, the target suffers d3 plus 3 mortal wounds and the attack sequence ends. Ouch. Cool, take that I reckon. The first knife, which is a Carlo or Grimnir model only. Each time the bearer fights, it can make additional attack using the close combat weapon profile. If that attack scores a hit, the target suffers d3 mortal wounds, plus an additional mortal wound for each judgment token the target unit has. The attack sequence ends. Alright. So there's another 2 sides here. Yeah, they're onto things like Warlord tricks. So a flare. It replaces the Forge Wrought Plasma Axe. So you get +2 strength, paid -3 and 2 damage. And you get 3 additional attacks to the weapon as well. It's not a decent enough weapon. The Wayfarer's Grace. Start the command phase as the bearer gains a lost wound. The first time the bearer is destroyed, you can choose to use this relic instead of you playing any other rules that trigger the model is destroyed. If you do so, roll on d6 at the end of the phase. On a 3+, you can set the model back up on the battlefield as close as possible to where it was destroyed, not within engagement range, and d3 wounds remaining. Excellent, ability to resurrect, very cool. The Grey Crest, Shield Crest model only. If the bearer is a character model, then each time an attack is made against the bearer's unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. If the bearer is not a character model, then each time an attack is made against the bearer's unit, the character is more than 12 inches away, subtract 1 from the attack's hit roll. Grudge's End, models with a bolt weapon only. When you give this model this relic, select one bolt weapon the model is equipped with. The weapon is considered to be a relic for all rules purposes. The damage characteristic is increased by 1, the AP is increased by 1, and each time an attack made by this unit hits a unit as one or more judgment tokens, that attack automatically wounds the target. That's pretty good as well, that one. Okay. So we'll go up here to Warpastrix, teleportation model only. Each time the bearer makes a normal move, advances, falls back, or makes a charge move, till the move is finished, it can move horizontally through models and terrain as if they were not there. Once per battle, you can use the site-to-site transport stratagem. If you select the bearer's unit for that stratagem, it costs 0 CP. And enemy units not on the battlefield as reinforcements cannot be set up within 12 inches of this model's unit. Okay, and then the half fist. So it's models with a mass gauntlet or concussion gauntlet only. So they replace that, you get +4 strength, -3 and straight 3 damage. And each time attack is made by this weapon is allocated to a model in a unit that has 1 or more judgment tokens. That attack has a judgment of 4. Yeah, I've got a bit of an opinion about codexes at the moment. You can leave it in the comments section. I was thinking about how, because there's no real rules to complain about. It's very occasionally you get a rule that's a bit silly or a bit too complicated. I don't think that's the problem with codexes at the moment, but just there's so many rules, it becomes, to get your head around it, it is an adventure once you know the codex, but for younger players coming in, there's a lot of stuff to learn here. Like, it used to be a page of relics, like 3, 4, 5, 6 relics. You've now got 3 pages. It used to be just, like, I remember like back in one of the older codexes, just if you were playing Orphe, you just got 6 up field and pain, that was it. But now you've got like a whole page of stuff just for one sub faction. And then obviously you've got all the stratagems as well. You've got this extra Volcanic Council on top of that. Also, so what would you chop down? That's the question I'm getting to. If you think things should be chopped down, I just think it's just an overload. There's too many rules here. So that's what I'm thinking. But I dropped stuff like that. I'll just delete all of that. I would, oh boy, I would either completely get rid of stratagems or put some kind of limit on them so that you're picking half a dozen to use in the game and that's it, something like that. So and other people have said you take some of the stratagems and you just make them unit entries instead, which I would think would work absolutely fine. But there's different views out there, but I think there's a bit bloating they're saying with the codex. It's just too many rules and it just becomes a game where you just keep forgetting rules and stuff because there's so much to remember. But anyway, the rules themselves are fine. It's not an actual problem with the rules. They are a joy to go through these books, and the depth of them is fantastic. Warlord then. Just done that once. The half fist. Model equipped with mass gauntlet or concussion gauntlet. Basically replacing the mass gauntlet or concussion gauntlet. It gives you +4 strength, -3 damage. And each time attack is made with this weapon allocated to model when a unit that has 1 or more judgment tokens. It's damage 4. Crazy, really good. The Murmuring Stave, Bearer Nose, it's a Grimnir model only. The Bearer Nose, additional psychic power. In your psychic phase, you can also attempt to perform an extra psychic power as well. Cool. The Thrikite Plate. This relic cannot be taken by exile models. Get +1 to your armor save and an extra wound. The Volum's Master Artifice. It's the Graviton rifle only. It replaces it and gives you Hunter 3, range 18, strength 5, -3 and 2 damage. And each time an attack is made with this weapon is allocated to a model with a save characteristic of 3 or better. That attack has a damage characteristic of 3. Okay, and then Yum Yum Shield, or the Yumma's Shield. It's an Einherd champion model once per battle round. When a saving throw is failed for the bearer can use this relic. When it does so, the damage characteristic of that attack is changed to 0. Each time the bearer uses this relic, roll 1d6 and a 5+. If every model from your army has the Votann keyword and is from the same league, soon unlined, the unit that made this attack gains a judgment token. So that's the relics. As per usual, 6 generic warlord traits here for the Leagues of Votann. So I think these will be a popular faction. I think people collect them because the model range looks great. This codex looks strong. I think people will go for them for sure. So we'll see them around. Look forward to seeing them on the channel. Happily bring them onto the channel and use them. So warlord traits then. Ancestral Bearing. Each time this warlord loses or uses an ability in your command phase that specifies a range, you get extra +3 inches to that aura. And 3 inches to the range of the warlord's aura abilities to a maximum of 12. Warrior Lord. Each time this warlord makes a melee attack, you can reroll the wound roll. And each time a melee attack is made by this warlord is allocated to an enemy model. That enemy model counts or cannot use any rolls to ignore the wounds it loses. And then a long list. Each time this warlord makes a ranged attack, the target does not receive the benefits of light cover. Each time you select a target for this warlord's ranged weapons, you can ignore the Lookout Sir or, oh boy, for any unit that has 1 or more judgment tokens. At the end of each phase, if any enemy units with judgment tokens are destroyed during that phase by a league unit from your army, select one enemy unit that is visible to the warlord. The unit gains 1 judgment token. And then Guild Affiliate. In your command phase, you can select one friendly league core unit within 6 inches of this warlord. To the start of your next command phase, that unit has the objective secured ability. If a model from that unit already has the ability, that model counts as an additional model. Unrelenting Toil, a friendly league core unit that is performing an action is within 6 inches of this warlord. You can shoot without that action failing. It's helpful. Depends what kind of unit you link up with, or units, because it's a friendly core unit within 6. It's an aura ability, not selecting a particular unit. So you could have 2 units in the area forming actions. Yeah, interesting. Grim Demeanor, aura ability, while a friendly league core unit is within 6 inches of this warlord. The unit can ignore all modifiers to its leadership characteristic and combat attrition as well. So then next on to the psychic powers. I imagine there's going to be ones in here to increase toughness and durability, sort of just to bless units and make them more durable. It's for whatever the enemy decides to throw at them. So I'm thinking it's going to be something like that in here. So in Interface Echo is a blessing, warp charge value of 5. If manifested, you gain a command point. The limit is for gaining or refunding CP per battle round does not apply to any command points gained via this psychic power. And then Fortify has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one friendly unit, League core or character unit within 12 inches of the psyker until the next psychic phase. Add 1 to the toughness, here we go, of the model, of the unit. Roll 1d6 of a 6 up for feel no pain. So just bumping up the durability. Ancestral Wrath has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy unit of an 18 visible to the psyker and roll 3 dice. If the enemy unit contains 11 or more models, roll 6 dice. In either case, add 1 to the result. Each result of the enemy unit has 1 or more judgment tokens. For each roll of a 4+, the enemy unit suffers a mortal wound. Then we got Grudge Pyre here, warp charge value of 4. If manifested, select an enemy unit that is not a vehicle, monster, or character unit within 18 inches of visible to the psyker, roll 2d6, and add the number to the judgment tokens that are next to the unit to the result. If the result is greater than a modified leadership characteristic, one model selected by your opponent in that unit is destroyed. Null Vortex has warp charge value of 8. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 12 inches of the psyker to the start of the next psychic phase. Models in that unit cannot use any invuln saves. Well, that's in there interesting, so you can shut down invuns. It's quite a big game changer on that one. Crushing, it's quite high though, need an 8. Crushing Contempt has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy unit of 18 of this psyker, roll 3d6. If the result is greater or equal to the leadership characteristic of that enemy unit, until the start of the next psychic phase, that unit cannot perform actions. If it's doing an action, it fails straight away. And if the result is greater than the leadership characteristic of the enemy unit, at the start of the next psychic phase, each time model that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the attack's hit roll. Okay. So then you got chapter approved rules. I'm not going to cover that. That's for your missions, the secondaries that you can choose. You got name generators here. Moving on to your crusade rules. I've heard crusade's great fun, but I'm not going to cover it here in this video. And there's a showcase going on with these lunar buggies. Right, so we're onto data sheets here, but there's some rules here. Now we're going to get an explanation here for these judgment tokens. So first thing is, you may have seen me calling out the weapon profile. Instead of heavy, I've said hunter. It's H-U-N-T and H-U-N and capital T-N-R. Hunter weapons. Many ranged weapons or ranged Votann weapons have the type hunter. The number of attacks that model makes with a hunter weapon is equal to the number written on the weapon's profile after its type. For example, model shooting a hunter 1 weapon can make 1 attack with that weapon. Alright, so that's it. It's similar to heavy as far as that's concerned. Just tells you the number of shots, nothing else funny going on with that. Then you got here the Eye of the Ancestors here for abilities. If every unit from your army has the Votann keyword and is from the same league, then enemy units will gain judgment tokens to a maximum of 3 throughout the battle as follows. Each time an enemy unit destroys a Votann unit from your army, that enemy unit gains a judgment token. So it's like revenge here, the wolves building up this revenge against the enemy after they damage and hurt their stuff. So again, dwarf kind of style. Each time an enemy unit successfully completes an action or psychic action, it gains a judgment token. At the end of each of your opponent's turns, you can select one enemy unit within range of the objective marker that your opponent controls. The unit gains a judgment token. So the more you try to undermine, the pun there, but for dwarves, but the more you try to undermine their battle plan, the more it annoys them, and they set to hold grudges against whoever's doing that on the battlefield. So it's quite cool. If a unit of any judgment tokens is removed from the battlefield because it embarked on a transport, make a note of how many judgment tokens it had when it was removed, blah 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 blah. If a unit with 1 or more judgment tokens splits up into 2, each of those units gains the number of objective markers equal to that of the original unit. If 2 or more units combine to form a single large unit, and any of those units have 1 or more judgment tokens, make a note of how many on the unit with the most just before they combined. The new larger unit has a number of judgment tokens equal to this. Each time a Votann model, excluding COG models from your army, makes attack against a unit that has 1 or more judgment tokens, you apply the following. So, number of tokens. If they've got 1, it's an unmodified hit roll of 6 auto wounds. If there's 2 judgment tokens for imminent threat, unmodified hit rolls of 5+ successfully hits the target. Oh no, if you hit the target, it also automatically wounds the target. Okay. And then now we've got a grudge to settle. A modified hit roll of 4+, if that attack successfully hits the target, it auto wounds the target. So it's helpful. Just throw those counters down depending on how they've been picked up, and you can make use of them. Okay. So that's a picture of the tokens. You get them inside the book as well, so you have to make up your own. They give you the sheet. So we've also got weapon types here called Magna Rao equipment. There's some extra abilities here. Ignoring one saved. Unmodified wound rolls of a 6. Excess damage that weapon inflicts is not lost. Instead, keep allocating excess damage to another model in the unit until either all the excess damage has been allocated or the model has been destroyed. Okay. Magna Rao. Yeah, as you'll see, they're quite potent. Steady advance. This unit can ignore any roll modifiers to its move characteristic and any roll modifiers to its advance or charge rolls. Each time this unit advances, do not make an advance roll. Instead, until the end of that phase, add 3 inches to the move characteristic of each model in the unit. Add 6 inches instead if its unit is accelerated. And then Void Armor. Each time an attack is made against this unit, your opponent cannot reroll the wound roll, cannot reroll the damage roll. Each time an attack is allocated to this model in this unit, the armor penetration characteristic of the attack is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 0. So a bit of armored contempt going on there with them. It's giving you some advice showing you how the beams work. Just firing through targets, you fire at one target, but anyone else caught in the beam gets hit. And now we're on to the unit entries here for the Leagues of Votann. So, I'm sure there's going to be other releases. Yeah, well, I don't know, really. The Codex has come out, so I don't know how they go about the process of doing that, but there's a good spread here initially. Ulfar the Destined, 140 points. They're off to a pretty sensible costing. There's no further points to spend on him. So for that you're getting, the impression I get, what I'm expecting with squats is slow, tough, decent firepower, and can stand up for themselves in close combat. So sort of an Imperial faction, unlike the Austria and Time, which wither away in front of armies like the Orcs and so on. These guys can actually stand their ground. You know, it's a non-Space Marine army that does have the same kind of endurance as them, if not slightly more maybe, I'm not sure, but comparable definitely. So Ulfar the Destined then, movement 5, so expecting that 5-inch move. Weapon skill and ballistic skill 2+, strength 5, toughness 5, 6 wounds, 5 attacks basically, should run 3 up save, so excellent. He's equipped with a Vulcanite Disintegrator, the Blade of the Ancestors and the Rampart Crest. So the Disintegrator, little pistol type weapon he's got here, is range 18, Hunter 3, so 3 shots, strength 5, AP 0 and 1 damage. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, unmodified hit roll of a 6 inflicts a mortal wound on the target and the attack sequence ends. So you can't expect too much from that, a little bit of damage. Blade of the Ancestors gives him +1 strength, so strength 6, AP -4, 2 damage. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, unmodified hit roll of a 6 inflicts 2 mortal wounds on the target and the attack sequence ends. Inflicts 3 mortal wounds instead if the target of that attack has 1 or more judgment tokens on it. So when they're seeking their revenge, they hit harder, do more damage and so on. So that's the kind of thing we've got running with the Leagues of Votann here. Then Rampart Crest is a shield aura, whilst a friendly Greater Thurian League Infantry or Greater Thurian League Bike units within 6 inches, they get 5+ invulnerable save against ranged attacks. And you can't increase that by any means. So he's okay in close combat, not bad. A bit scary that he can cause mortal wounds. There is a sting in the tail with him for sure. He's cheap enough. And now we're looking for some buffs and bonuses going on. So Eye of the Ancestors, Steady Advance and Void Armor. Then Kindred Hero. Yeah, it's that void armor kicking in, helping reduce damage and so on. You can't re-roll the damage roll or the wound roll. And the AP's cut by 1. Yep. And he's got 3 up armor save, so yeah, so all adds up to the durability. So Kindred Hero aura ability, whilst a Greater Furian League core unit is within 6 inches, you can re-roll hit rolls of 1 for any kind of attack. And then High Carl in your command phase, select on for any Greater Furian League core, Greater Furian League character unit within 6 inches of this model. And to the start of the next command phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll. Excellent. So this is all good here. Yeah. The Destined, each time an attack is allocated to this model, the damage characteristic of that attack is changed to 1. So you're knocking damage down as well. So you've got 4+ invulnerable save for the Bastion Void Armor. Grim Efficiency, in each of your command phases, if every unit from your army is from the same league, excluding models run lines, you can select one enemy unit visible to this model. If you do so, that unit gains a judgment token. Then Ancestral Fortune, once a battle round, when you make a hit roll, wound roll, damage roll, saving throw for this model, or a friendly Greater Furian League unit within 6 inches, you can change the result of that roll to a 6. For any rules purposes, that counts as an unmodified 6. So there's lots of stuff. Good all round HQ choice he is, and not that expensive in points. A Carl here next. So I think this is one you can customise yourself. Similar kind of model going on here with him. You'll still get movement 5, weapon skill, ballistic skill 4+. Sorry, 2+. Strength and toughness though drops to 4 either way. Drop a wound down to 5 and drop an attack down to 4. Leadership 9 and 3 up save. Expect him to be at 100 points. He's 70 points. He's cheap. And what you can do with this guy is make him potent by giving him Warlord traits, relics and so on. So I'll always have the customizable option. So he's got an all-top pattern combi bolter, range 24, hunter 4, strength 4, -1 damage. The Vulcanite Disintegrator, I've seen that one already, so he's got one of those. The Forge Wrought Plasma Axe, it's +1 strength, strength 5, egg -3, 2 damage. He's got the Mass Gauntlet as an option as well. Yeah, so you can swap it for this. It gives you +3 strength, egg -3, 3 damage, but it is -1 to hit rolls. The Rampart Crest, which we've covered already. The Teleport Crest gets the teleportation keywords. You can deep strike him, blah 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 blah, and that gives you options of what you can swap around. You still keep the 4+ invulnerable save for the Bastion Void Armor. You've got Eye of the Ancestor, Steady Advance Void Armor. Kindred Heroes, reroll hit rolls of 1 for league core units within 6 inches. And Grim Efficiency in each of your command phases. I've seen that one already. That's where you're dishing out a judgment token. Yep. Abilities where you can stack tokens on stuff is useful for key parts of the battlefield where you need a bit of help, need a bit more punch. You can start stacking tokens on certain units that you really want to get rid of. So it's a powerful ability to do that. It'd be like the Eldar with their selective psychic powers, reroll hit rolls, reroll wound rolls and so on, just at the point of need on the battlefield. So the token idea is strong enough for them for sure. You know, picking out what needs to be prioritised for destruction, actually getting some bonuses when you try and do that. You've got a 9 champion next. It's 90 points. If you take the mass hammer, it's 10. So it's a 100-point model if you go for the hammer. You've got movement 5, weapon skill, ballistic skill 2+, strength 5, toughness 5, 5 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 9, 2 up save. You got the all-type pattern combi bolter as an option. The mass hammer as standard, and you've got a wave field crest as well. You can take a Dark Star axe instead, which we'll do that first. If you take that option, it's +1 strength, strength 6, -3, 1 damage. I think we've covered something similar to that already. Each time attackers made this weapon, make 2 hit rolls instead of 1. So it's like 8 attacks now. Each time attackers made this weapon allocated to a new model, the enemy model cannot use any rules that ignore wounds. Or you can go for the mass hammer. I'd probably take the hammer. It is -1 to the hit roll, but it's times 2 strength, strength 10, -3, and D3 plus 3 damage. So it's a real super hammer. So teleport crest we've seen, you can deep strike in and so on and so forth. The Wayfield crest, so you take one or the other. The bearer's unit gains the shield crest keyword. In addition, the bearer increases its wounds characteristic to 6 and has a 4+ invulnerable save, as opposed to none. So it depends what you want to do, ambush or solidarity. The usual bonus rolls, and then mass driver accelerators. Each time this model ends a charge move, select on a unit with engagement range of this model, roll 1d6. If the result is an unmodified 6, or if it equals or beats the highest toughest characteristic, then it's D3 mortal wounds. And then you've got reroll wound rolls of 1 for half guard units within 6 inches when they make attacks. You've got exo armor, it's -1 damage as a surprise, and then ram shield, the RAM shield. Each time a melee attack is made against this model, it's -1 to the wound roll. So multiple stacking durability rules for these. They will survive on the table quite well, I would imagine. They shouldn't wither away. They should take fire, absorb firepower, and endure, which is what you're expecting from the squats. No surprises here with the... the sculpts have surprised me, I guess, but the rules, not really. This is what you're expecting from the squad, so there's nothing funny going on here. The Grimnir, however it's pronounced, I think this is your Psyker. Yeah. Just straight 80 points. Movement 5, 3+ weapon skill and ballistic skill. Strength 4, toughness 4, 4 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 9, 4 up save. It comes with a Corv, the CORV. Same movement, weapon skill and ballistic skill 4+, strength 3, toughness 4, 1 wound, 1 attack, leadership 6, 4 up save. The Grimnir is equipped with an ancestral stave. Each Corv is equipped with an Autarch pattern bolter, which we've seen already. That's the Hunter 2, range 24. And the ward stave is +3 strength, for strength 7, -2, and D3 damage. The usual bonuses. He's also got a 4+ invulnerable save for ancestral ward crest. Grimnir's regard aura whilst a friendly league core units within 6 inches. Add 1 to combat attrition tests. And then Corv support. Each time this unit suffers perils of the warp, if this unit contains one or more CORV models, one of those models is destroyed and the effects of that perils is ignored, so they absorb that. Cool. And the destruction of a Corv is ignored for morale, so on and so on for that. Then we've got Brock here, Ironmaster. So you got some nice HQs to choose from here. He's 80 points as well, so cheap. Yep. So movement 5, weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 2+, strength 4, toughness 4, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 9, 4 up save. Not the strongest stat lines for durability and shooting. Only 3 attacks. He's got an Ironkin assistant, which would be movement 5, 3 ups, weapon skill and ballistic skill, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 9, 4 up save. And the ECOG, the E-COG. It's 5-inch move, 4+ weapon skill and ballistic skill. Strength 3, toughness 4, 1 wound, 1 attack, leadership 9, 4 up save. So the Ironmaster is equipped with a Graviton rifle, which is range 18, Hunter 3, strength 5, -3, 2 damage. Each time attack is made with this weapon allocated to a model with a save characteristic of 3+ or better. That attack has a damage characteristic of 3. Okay, pretty good. As I'm thinking of taking out Mega Knobs would be pretty good with that weapon. Ballistic skill 2+ as well, so you're getting efficient firepower from him. He's equipped with a Graviton hammer, which is ×2 strength, strength 8, -2, 2 damage. And again, if it's an armor save of 3 or more, it's damage of 3. Interesting. An Ironkin assistant is equipped with a las beam cutter, which is range 9, pistol 1, strength 6, -3, 1 damage beam. Okay. And 1 ECOG is equipped with an Autarch pattern bolt pistol. It's range 12, pistol 1, strength 4, -1, 1 damage. 1 ECOG is equipped with a plasma torch, which is a melee weapon. Hitting on 4s, 1 attack, strength +4, -4, 2 damage. And another ECOG is equipped with manipulator arms, which is strength for the user, AP 0, 1 damage, and you get 2 additional attacks to that weapon, so next to useless. So multispectral visor. In your command phase, if this unit contains an Iron Master model, you can select one friendly League Core, League Vehicle unit from within 9 inches. If you do so until the start of your next command phase, each time model unit makes an attack with a ranged weapon, it's +1 to the hit roll. Nice. So this is Tech Marine basically. Then you can restore D3 lost wounds to vehicles and exo-frame models within 3 inches. And that's at the end of the movement phase. And the Ironkin Assistant, which unit contains the Ironkin Assistant models, this unit can perform actions even if it has advanced, and it can shoot without its action failing, which is helpful. And ECOG support, each time this unit uses its Brocchia's Guild ability, if this unit contains one or more ECOG models, the model being repaired gains an additional lost wound, nice, and the destruction of ECOG is ignored from morale, so on. But yeah, useful unit, that one. Yeah. I would take, I don't know, I think they're all pretty useful HQ choices. So now getting to the core of the army, the half-kin warriors. So again we're expecting durability of these, pretty decent firepower. Yeah, just generally good all-round solid type units. They look well built and solid like they should for squads. I'm saying squats. Am I meant to say squats or not? I don't know whether that's still banned or not, if you're allowed to, if squats is appropriate or not. Still, I'm sort of using the two. Half-kin warriors then. So your base cost for these is, they're cheap. They're 11 points each. Yeah, not too bad at all really, 11 points. Like a strike team fire warriors 8, I believe. So 11 points. So for that you gain movement 5. You can have up to 20 in a squad. Units of 1 to 20, yeah. And a minimum size of 10. Movement 5. Weapon skill and ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 4, 1 wound, 2 attack space. Nice. Leadership 7, 4 up save. So they're built really well, but not a 3 up. Not full body armour, I guess, as the legs are exposed, the arms, like Space Marines, which are fully covered. But obviously way better than flak armour and so on. So something comparable to the armour that the Tau infantry are equipped with, like fire warriors and so on. So the squad leader will give you an extra wound, extra attack, 3 attacks, extra leadership 8. So their base weapons. So they're equipped with Autarch pattern bolt pistol. Every model gets one of those. They also get the Autarch pattern bolter. They also get gravitic concussion grenades, perhaps to limit the impact in close combat. So we've seen the bolt pistol, the Autarch pattern bolter. This is Hunter 2, range 12, bolter, range 24, Hunter 2. So there's no rapid fire stuff going on, just always getting those shots, even at longer range. So it's a bit of a superiority compared to bolters there. Range 24, strength 4, and a bit of AP minus going on as well. So generally speaking, not too bad a weapon. You can deliver a decent volley at long range. The concussion grenades, not bad actually, range 6, grenade D6, blast, strength 5, -1, 1 damage. So here's your options. Yeah, they get all the steady advance, so armour of contempt for example, void armour, use your all steady advance, and Eye of the Ancestors, and then all of the models in the unit can have their Autarch pattern bolter replaced with all of the models in the unit can have their Autarch pattern bolter replaced with 1 iron blaster each. Oh, okay. You do have to pay for it. It costs you a point, 1 point, to get that weapon. So the iron blaster will, it's not bad. It will give you range 18, Hunter 1, but it's strength 5 -2, 2 damage. Interesting weapon. Yeah. You can select up to 2 different options from the following list. 1 Warrior's Autarch pattern bolter or iron blaster can be replaced with a high las auto rifle. So the high las auto rifle, you can take up to 2 of these. It's 5 points. Range 24, Hunter 3, strength 6 -2, but just the 1 damage. So yeah, not too fussed on that one. Because if you've got an opportunity, you've got Ballistic Skill 3+ to bury a semi-decent option in here, then I'd go for it. The other option is to take an L7 missile launcher. That'll cost you 10 points, double the cost. But for that you've got the two options. You've got selecting either profile: focused, range 30, hunter 1, strength 9 -2 d6 damage, a bit random. Or you've got the blast option, which is range 30, hunter d6, strength 5 -1 damage, but it's blast. Or you can go for the Etakan Plasma Beamer. Loads of options here. That's range 18, hunter 1, strength 8 -3, 2 damage and beam. So that weapon's all right. And that's 10 points as well. I'd maybe go for that. Now this is the one I've had my eye on. Or you can replace it with one Magna Rau rifle. It will cost you 20 points, but it's range 24, hunter 1, strength 9, -4, d3 +3 damage. So there's a nice bit of kick to that. A couple of those in the squad makes them dangerous for sure. d3 +3 damage. Both of those go through, for example, you know, you could be 2d3 +6 damage. It's going to wreck a vehicle, cause big trouble. It's a dangerous weapon for sure. Gives them a real sting in the tail. Going for that one, so it could be worth the investment. If this unit contains 20 models, you can select up to 2 different options from the following list. Oh boy. So you could take another 2, basically. Yep. Different options. Yeah, so you could, for example, take a squad of 20 and you could bury 4 Magnum Rau rifles in there and make them a real super protected, super sized me devastator squad, with 4 of them firing the heavy guns and then 16 protecting them. So you could play it like that. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay. Yeah. It's up to 3 different warriors that are equipped with either all-type pattern bolters or iron blasters can each take different options from the following list. They can take medipacks, a multi-wave comms array, and be equipped with a pan-spectral scanner. So these dwarves, they're loaded with war gear here. They're not short on stuff. I think that fits with the fluff of them. Like, they're traders and through their business dealings, they're rich. So this sort of reflects nicely with the wide variety of stuff. So the medipack, it's 5 points. Bearer's unit gains medipack keyword. In addition, once per turn, first time a saving throw is failed for the bearer's unit, the damage characteristic is changed to 0. So for 5 points, to keep a model alive, I think it's worth it each turn. Yeah, I'll take a medipack for sure. It can be equipped with a multi-wave comms array. Need 5 points. Bearer gains the comms keyword. Whilst the bearer's unit is within 24 of a friendly Carl model, the bearer's unit is considered to be in range of that Carl's kindred hero or ability. They may well prove very useful as well. You've really got some great equipment options here. And then your pan-spectral scanner is 5 points. That's here. So the bearer's unit gains the scanner keyword. In addition, each time model in this bearer's unit makes an attack with a ranged weapon, the target doesn't receive the benefits of light cover. So you can strip light cover as well, which can be useful enough. Yeah, so those are all very useful indeed. There's a little star here. This model's all-type pattern bolter or iron blaster cannot be replaced. Okay. The Thyan's all-type pattern bolt pistol can be replaced with one of the following. So an iron pistol, which is range 12, pistol 1, strength 5, -2, 2 damage. It might cost you a bit. It's 5 points for that. But damage 2, pretty good weapon. And you can take an Etakan plasma pistol. It's 5 points for that. Range 6, pistol 1, strength 8, -3, 2 damage. It's not beam though. And then the other option is the all-type pattern bolter for the Thyan or iron blaster can be placed in one of the following. So concussion gauntlet, Here, +3 strength, -2, 2 damage. It's for a 3 attacks model. Whether you might want an HQ or a leader model in there equipped with something to fight back with in close combat, because it'd be hard to root him out, so it may well be worth going for that. There's no minus to hit rolls for that gauntlet as well. So you're on strength 7, -3, 2 damage. It's not too bad at all. And that will cost you just 10 points. It's not too bad. Now we're looking for the other option, a plasma axe. +1 strength, -3, 1 damage. Not that potent, really. That's 5 points, so I'll take the gauntlet. And the plasma sword, which is strength, for the user open -3, 1 damage, and you get an extra attack with it. And that will cost you 5 points. Now I'd take the gauntlet, I think, just for a bit of kickback in close combat. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. So then the half guard here, the Terminators really. They're an elite choice, 35 points each, so they costed similarly. Concussion hammer is 10 points if you're going to go for that. You can take up to 9 of them. Sorry, you can take unit squads of 10. Minimum size of 5. They're all equipped with Econ plasma guns, X-armor grenade launchers, concussion gauntlets, and then the Hessia is additionally equipped with a wave field crest. It's the inbound save. It's -1 damage for X-armor. We've seen that already with the HQ choice, so that's very, very useful. Very, very useful indeed. Combine that with your void armor rolls and so on. I'm sure it's going to be a tough enough unit for sure. I imagine you want these to strike well in combat. So the plasma gun then is range 24, hunter 1, strength 8, -4, 2 damage. No overheating, no nonsense. Those, so decent enough. The Exo armor grenade launcher is range 18, hunter D6, strength 4, -1, 1 damage blast. We'll maybe go to here first. All the models unit can have their Ectocon plasma guns replaced with Vulcanite disintegrators, which is range 18, hunter 3, strength 5, -0, 1 damage. Each time attackers made this weapon, unmodified hit rolls of 6 inflict a mortal wound in attack sequence ends. You can try and plaster the target with mortal wounds. All the models unit can have their concussion gauntlet replaced with 1 plasma blade gauntlet each. So the concussion hammer, which you've seen already, is -1 to the hit roll, ×2 strength, -2, 3 damage. You can instead take the plasma gauntlet, which is +1 strength, so these guys are at strength 5, so strength 6, -3, 1 damage. You get an extra attack with that weapon. So half guard here, movement 5, weapon skill ballistic skill 3+, strength 5, toughness 5, 2 wounds, 2 attacks base, which is a shame, leadership 8 and 2 up save. The Hessia's concussion gauntlet, you can take a concussion hammer, which does strike well, I believe. Oh no, it's the damage 3-1, it's okay. And then the Hessia's wave field crest can take the teleportation crest if you want to deep strike in. That's about it with them. So yeah, they're alright, generally okay. I wouldn't say they're utterly deadly with their impact, either shooting or close combat. But they're a unit that's going to stick around. I imagine they're going to attract a lot of attention on the battlefield. A squad of 10 is going to be like 350 odd points plus, depending on your war gear. So the Chthonian Berserks next. Hopefully like a high impact unit in close combat. The downside to these is they're slow. Yeah, they don't go any faster, they're moving 5. They're 22 points each. The mole grenade launcher is 10 points and the twin concussion gauntlets are 5 points. You take squads of 5 to 10 for these. So like a fully equipped unit, you're looking at a good solid 200 points. No, more than that potentially. 220 points at least and beyond. So for these you get movement 5, weapon skill, ballistic skill 3+, strength 5, toughness 5, 2 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 8 with a 6 up save. Okay, so it's not a unit that's going to wander around absorbing as much damage here. They can be shot down, so be careful. Toughness 5 though. So every model is equipped with a heavy plasma axe. It's your standard loadout. So with the axe, you've got 2 profiles to choose from. you can go for strike, which is +1 strength. Strength 6, -3, 2 damage. So not too high impact of those. You can go for sweep, which is strength use, strength 5, -3, 1 damage, but you get 2 hit rolls instead of 1, so you could really go mad and loads of attacks. All the models in the unit can have their heavy plasma axe replaced with a concussion maul each. So the concussion maul would be times 2 strength, so strength 10, -3, and 3 damage. And each time attack is made with this weapon, it's -1 to the hit rolls though. But that's a potent weapon for sure. Very high strength, good AP and high damage. They can all take them. The base of 3 attacks, so you still should get plenty of hits come through. For every 5 models in the unit, 1 model that is not equipped with a mole grenade launcher can have its heavy plasma axe or concussion maul replaced with a twin concussion gauntlet. So the twin concussion gauntlet is +3 strength, -2, 2 damage, and you get an extra attack with that weapon. For every 5 models in the unit, 1 model that is not equipped with a twin concussion gauntlet can be equipped with 1 mole grenade launcher. If a model has a mole grenade launcher, add 1 to its wounds and attacks characteristics. While a unit contains 1 or more models equipped with a mole grenade launcher, it has the subterranean explosives keyword. So the mole grenade launcher, range 24, hunter D6, strength 5, -2, 1 damage. Blast, this weapon can target units not visible to the bearer. Right, okay. Yep. So you've got usual rules, then you've got augmented. Each time model this unit loses a wound, or a d6, adding 1 to the result if the damage characteristic of that attack was 1. So on a 5+, the wound is not lost, potentially could be a 4+. So they can absorb damage here in a different way. Add cyber stims. You can reroll charge rolls made for this unit. Each time model this unit is destroyed by a melee attack, if that model is not fought this phase, then you do get to fight with it. So similar to the space rules of their Wolfen. The Hernkin Pioneers, 30 points each, 3 to 6 models per unit. If you go for the high-las rotary cannon, it's 10 points, the iron beamer 10 points, multi-wave comms arrays 5 points, the pan spectral scanners 5 points, and the roll bar searchlight is 5 points. Sounds quite cool. It's the bikers. Righty ho. So where's the Devastator dudes? They're infantry, right, like a Devastator squad, got it, right. So the Pioneers then, movement 12, so they're nice and quick. Squats make up for their slow on foot, but they got technology to shift them around. Weapons gun ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 5, 3 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 8 and a 4-up save. They're equipped with the bolt revolver, bolt shotgun, magna coil, autocannon, gravitic concussion grenades. So the bolt revolver's range 9, pistol 1, strength 5, -1, 1 damage. The bolt shotgun is range 12, assault 2, strength 5, -1, 1 damage. The magna coil autocannon is range 24, hunter 3, strength 7, -1, 2 damage. It's all quite sensible at the moment. And the gravitic concussion grenades we've seen already, that's the strength 5, -1 blast grenade option, range 6. So for every 3 models, 1 can be equipped with the following: a high-las rotary cannon, which is range 24, hunter 9, 9 shots, strength 8, -2, 1 damage. There's lots of quite high caliber Daka here really for killing single wound models. Or you can take an iron beamer, which is range 18, hunter 2, strength 7, -2, 2 damage, and beam. So yeah, if the model is equipped with any of these weapons, add 1 to its attacks and wounds characteristics. Done that again. Up to 3 different models that are not equipped with either high-las rotary cannon or iron beamer can take one of the option from the following. Up to 3 different models can take one different option from the following list. So yeah, okay. So you can be equipped with a roll bar searchlight. The bearer's unit gains a searchlight keyword. In addition, each time model in the unit makes attack with a ranged weapon, they don't get dense cover. Equipped with a multi-wave comms array, you're in range of the Kindred Heroes Aura ability, and then the pan spectral scanner, we've seen that already, it strips away light cover. So those are options that are available. So pretty good options available here for these. Then they got Ranger Outriders special rule. So I think really, what would they be good at? I think the main strength, speed and durability with these. They can move super quick. And I would equip them for... Yeah, I really like the higher las rotary cannon. So I'd equip them with as much Dakar as possible. Scout out, take out screening units, light infantry units, and play it that way. That's about it really. The Ranger Outriders at the start of the first battle round before the first turn begins, you can make a normal move of up to 12 inches in the movement phase. This unit must end its move more than 9 inches away from any models, and you alternate if both players have abilities that are the same or similar. So you've got a bit of a kickstart with those. So for 9th edition games, move out quick, grab objectives. This is a fantastic unit for doing that. I think these are a must. Despite them, I don't think they're too high impact, virtually nothing for close combat. Shooting, quite tame, but their ability to move fast, really fast, and get into position is very useful for 9th edition, especially if your other stuff's moving up a bit of a slower rate. So the Sagittor, which I think is one of my favourite units. I love this vehicle, the smaller vehicle. It's a fast attack option. It's 110 points, nice and cheap. You can take squadrons of 1 to 2. The high las beam cannon is 20 points. The Sagittor missile launcher is 10. This could actually be quite well equipped for being a little mini buggy. And I think these are actually very popular because the movement 12, so nice and quick. Weapon skill 6+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 6, toughness 7, 9 wounds. There's no damage bracket with these, which is excellent news. 3 attack space, leadership 8, and a 3-up save. So, they're nice and cheap. Now I'm hoping for a good weapon. So the high las beam cannon, range 24, heavy 2, strength 9, -3, d6 damage. Potentially then could be 2d6 damage. You've got the beam option on that as well, so that's a good weapon. Or you can go for the L7 missile launch, which we've seen already. A single shot weapon, strength 9, -2, d6. Or you can go for blast, unlike in the high las beam. So have a look at the cost. The high las beam cannon is 20. Missile launch is half the price is 10. So you can think about that one. Any number of models can... Let's have a look. So you've got the twin bolt cannon built in. Range 36, Hunter 6, strength 6, -2, 2 damage. Excellent weapon. It's better than a heavy bolter. Better than twin heavy bolter. Don't have to pay for it, it's part of the points. Excellent. Very, very good. Any number of models can have their high las beam cannon replaced with one of the following. It's the missile launcher, which you already covered, one Matter autocannon, and one Sagittor missile launcher. Okay. Right. Well, what's going on here? Ah, right. So the L7 missile launcher, which I don't think is that great. You don't actually pay for that. Trying to keep things cheap. It's the Sagittor missile launcher, which is way better. You do pay 10 points for that. It's range 36, better range. Heavy 2, strength 10, -3, 3 damage. Nice. And the Master also can, if you go for that, range 24, heavy 6, strength 7, -2, 2 damage. So a bit of high caliber medium infantry Dakar here. You could combine that with your twin bolt cannon. All of a sudden you've got 12 shots coming from this thing, either at strength 7 or strength 6, all at -2, all at 2 damage a time. You could pepper a vehicle with a lot of shots like that, 4s, 5s to wound, and fouled armour saves start causing damage on vehicles as well. But medium infantry, hordes, trying to clear out a guard squad of 10, hitting them with such high caliber weaponry with good AP minus, that's useful firepower. So, mounted assault. If this unit contains 2 models, then before the battle at the start of the declare reserves and transport set up of the mission sequence, you can select one Halfkin Warriors or Berserkers unit that contains 10 models. If you do so, that unit can split into 2 units, each containing 5 models, and split the unit in this ability. Make a note of which models are in the 2 units, which must start the battle embarked on one of these 2 Sagittor models. If you're playing a Crusade mission, the split unit rules do not apply to infantry units that split using this ability, that have any battle honours or battle scars, So, what a cool rule. Squad of 10, split them in 2 between the 2 vehicles. Nice, really good. The Sagittor Squadron, if the unit contains 2 models, the first time it's set up on the battlefield, each model must be set up within 6 inches of each other, and then you can separate after that. And I take it the split squads can do the same, and it does explode on a 6. So, nice. Yeah, fascinating. Nice model that, nice cheap, decent firepower. You can transport stuff. It's not on a damage bracket, So nice and quick. So very good indeed. I like them. Right, so the Brock here, Thunderkin, this is your Devastator squad basically with these. 35 points a time. The SP conversion beam is 5 points, and you can take 3 to 6 of them in the squads. Movement 5, weapon skill, ballistic skill 3+, strength 5, toughness 5, 3 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 8, 3 up save. So they're equipped with bolt cannons, which is range 36, hunter 3, strength 6, -2, 2 damage. All the models in the unit can have their bolt cannon replaced with a graviton blast cannon each. You're not paying any points, extra points for. You get range 18, hunter D6, strength 5, -3, 2 damage. It's a blast weapon, so you could kick out a ton of shots against the right target. Each time an attack is made with this weapon is allocated to a model with a save characteristic of 3 plus its damage 3. You can go for the SP conversion beamer. All of them. That will cost you your extra 5 points. But you get range 30, hunter 1, strength 7, -2, 3 damage. Yeah, I don't know if I rate these. Strength 7's not that great. Right, so I wouldn't presume these as being really a Devastator squad for taking on the heaviest of stuff. It's more for heavy infantry clearance. As you can see in the picture here, trying to take out Meganobs here, almost designed to clear heavy armoured infantry such as Meganobs by the look of it. But you wouldn't really take these as a, oh, I need these for anti-tank, because the weaponry is not high caliber enough, because that strength's going to be a problem. Strength 7 at best. Each time attack is made with this weapon hits a unit, if the unit hit was wholly within 15 inches of the firing model, 1 additional hit is scored against this unit. Interesting. Okay. Omnivisors. Each time one of this unit makes attacks with a ranged weapon, the target doesn't receive the benefits of dense cover. So then we've got the big blobby moon buggy thing. The Hecaton Land Fortress. And a land fortress in my mind was like that train type thing from yesteryear, but not so. It's more of a moon landing thing now, so never mind. 230 points. Whoa, boy, right, okay. And if you go for the Ancestor's Vengeance Warhead, it's 10 points. The Iron Beam is 5 points. The Kin's Wrath Warhead is 10 points. The Mountain Breaker Warhead is 10 points as well. So fully equipped, you'll get about 250 odd points. It's a big blobby bullet magnet. So you get with this the movement 10, so it's all right for speed. It can drop right down to 6 if it starts taking damage. Yeah, it is transport to come to that. Weapon skill 6+, ballistic skill 3+, but that can drop right down to 5+. Strength 8, toughness 8, 16 wounds, 6 attacks, 2 up save, leadership 9. So I just don't. It's just going to attract attention to get shot to monkeys. Really, it's so big. I'm looking to see if, I don't know if it can get an invuln save. This thing is going to be in trouble as soon as the game begins, I think. So, up to you if you want to take it. Hecaton Land Fortress is equipped with a cyclic iron cannon. Okay, the Matter Auto Cannon, the Panspectral Cannon, 4 bolt cannons. So your bolt cannons like 2 shots each. You've got like 8 shots coming in at strength 6 -2, 2 damage, range 36. Cyclic Iron Cannon is range 24, heavy 3d3, strength 8 -2, 2 damage and blast. Not too bad a weapon. Cyclic Iron Cannon. You don't pay for that, it's built into it. You don't pay for any of the bolt cannons either, it's all built into the price. The Master Auto Cannon I think we've seen already. Yeah, it's this heavy 6, strength 7 -2, 2 damage. And you don't pay for that either. The Panspectral Scanner, you don't pay for that. Scrubs light cover, it's built in. And the 4 bolt cannons we've seen. So you can go, the model can take, this model can take one of the following options. So you can replace 2 bolt cannons with 2 iron beamers. So the iron beamer, range 18, hunter 2, strength 7 -2, 2 damage and beams. There's 2 lots of that, so that's like 4 shots coming through. 2 iron beamers, I think you have to pay 10 points, 5 points each for the pair of those. You can place 4 bolt cannons with 4 iron beamers, so you can switch it right the way around, but that will cost you 20 points to do that, I guess. This model's cyclic iron cannon can be replaced with the SP conversion beamer or the Magna Rail cannon. So the Magna Rail cannon, not going to cost you. No. And the SP conversion beamer is not going to cost you either. So I think it's the heavy conversion, yeah. It's range 30, Hunter 2, strength 8, -3, straight 4 damage. Each time attackers made with this weapon, if the unit was within 15 inches, an additional hit is scored, potential 3 hits. Or you can go for the heavy Magna Rail Cannon, range 36, heavy 1, strength 14, -4, 2d3 +6 damage. Sheesh, it's almost comparable to the railgun for the tower and the Magna Rail rules as well, which is ignoring invuln saves, is it? Yep, it's comparable to the Hammerhead railgun. Interesting. The model's cyclic iron cannon can be replaced with one of the. I've done that. The model's pan-spectral scanner can be replaced with the Ancestor's Vengeance warhead, which you have to pay 10 points for. It's range 36, heavy D6, strength 6, -2, 2 damage. Bearer can only shoot this weapon once per battle. Yeah, no. This weapon cannot target units. This weapon can target units that aren't visible. Each time an attack is made with this weapon against a vehicle unit, attack damage characteristic is increased to 3, and an unmodified wound rolls of 4+ successfully wound the target. Or you can take a Mountain Breaker warhead or a Kinsroth warhead. The Kinsroth is 10, the Mountain Breaker is 10. So there's plenty of, again, loads and loads of options available here for these dwarves. So Mountain Breaker warhead, heavy 1, range 36, strength 10, -3, straight 6 damage. It's a 1 use only though. And you can fire at stuff you can't see. Whoa. And the other one is the Kinsroth, which is range 36, heavy 2d6, strength 6, -2, 1 damage blast. 1 use only. And again, you can fire at stuff you can't see. That's it. You do get the void armor on this thing, does explode. Transport capacity of 12, League infantry models. X armor count as 2, exo frame count as 3. Such as these, exo frame. You could transport them, the Brockian Thunderkin. Oh boy, what do you do? Because if I say, right, I don't like these, they're going to get shot at. I lost all my heavy guns. They're not that great for taking out tanks. And then what have you got left? Bit of a problem here, I think, with them. You're sort of stuck on the land fortress. If you don't take it, you lose your heavy firepower. But it's so costly. I mean, you could run 2 for a 2,000 points list, but that's a quarter of your army's points. They're going to be an absolute bullet magnet. I guess Space Marine players face the same problem with their larger grav tanks, you know, loaded out, fully equipped, but it just attracts so much attention, they just get taken out. So this is a bit of a problem here. If you drop him, where are you going to go for your anti-tank stuff? So it really does push me towards the option here of taking the Half-Kin Warriors and really burying in those deadly Magna Rail rifle shots. Strength 9, -4, D3 +3 damage, taking as many of those as possible. Sniping vehicles with durable infantry squads. Because these, if you do take them, they're going to get shot at anyway and start dropping down in wounds and so on. And then across here, the Sagittor, I'd take the heavier shooting options perhaps as well. The Sagittor missile launcher, for example. Okay. So that's it. We've covered the weapon profiles. We've had a good look at all the points as well to give you an idea of what's going on. But Leagues of Votann Codex looks strong enough. A little bit worried about the war gear for them and what unit options they have. So this is quite a limited number of units that are available. That could be a little bit of a problem for them. Although Games Workshop, they've given you a good spread to kick things off. They seem to be slow, but that's made up for by some decent transport vehicles that can move quick enough, and the bikers. So there's elements of the army that can move fast, so they're not a generally slow army. Durability looks, as you'd expect, looks to be really strong. There's a number of abilities stacking up there to really add to the durability of these for sure. Close combat doesn't seem to be an issue. There's some decent enough close combat units also. And general all-round firepower looks decent as well. But as I said, a bit worried about a lot of the heavy weapons being invested in that big tank there at the end. That could be an issue for the squats, or for the Leagues of Votann as they're now called. There is a departure away from the original concept for the squats. I talk about it a bit in the review for the box set. You can leave your own comments and feedback about that in the comment section. But for this video mainly is, what do you think of the rules? Are they going to be strong enough? Is there problems for them? I should think they'll be okay, but perhaps there are some gaps for them that would need to be filled just to make them a bit better all round against a variety of targets. But check out the channel sponsors, pre-order and so on for the Leagues of Votann releases as they come along. A link for them in the video description below for the Outpost. It means you can just get yourself a discounted rate. Usually it's 20% off the retail price. And if your order's large enough, you can tap into free postage. It's really annoying paying postage, especially for like courier deliveries and stuff. But if your order's big enough, you can get free postage and don't have to worry about paying that. And if you're watching in the European Union, you can tap into free postage, all your duties paid for you as well. So do check out the Outpost and use the link in the video description. But that's the review. Check out the unboxing as well. Keep a lookout for more reviews on the channel. Thanks for watching and tune in next time.